It was a hectic day at the office. Files got corrupted, someone needed to leave early, and another had even quoted the wrong estimate in a document. But their manager, Yuichi, resolved all these problems easily. He uploaded a backup of the corrupted file, already had a replacement ready for the absent employee, and quickly fixed the document. Yuichi was respected by his peers. He was cool, dependable, and polite. Everyone wished to be like him, and they often wondered if he was the same way at home. At home, however, he was getting scolded by his daughter, Yuki, because he bought the wrong snacks. He had brought Rice Krispies and regular green tea. She teased that her father's taste in snacks was comparable to a grandma's. Yuichi apologized and promised he would try to remember the difference next time. As for the snacks he had bought, he said he would just eat them himself. Their breakfast together was awkward and silent. Yuichi tried to break the ice by asking how school was going, but Yuki didn't reply and just kept scrolling on her phone. That's when Yuichi asked why she had been coming home so late recently. His question caught her attention and made her jolt.
The other day, you came home after midnight. If I hadn't heard from you, I would have called the police. What were you doing?
Yuichi asked with worry.
It's none of your business.
Yuki replied.
It is my business. I'm your father.
Yuichi lectured her, saying that even as a high schooler, she was still a child, and if she couldn't come home for dinner, she should at least call. He also warned her to be careful at night with so many weirdos around. Annoyed, Yuki slammed her hand on the table and called him annoying. As she stood, she accidentally knocked over her mom's altar. It toppled to the floor, and Yuichi panicked, rushing to check the picture frame of his late wife.
Thank goodness nothing broke,
Yuichi said with relief. Yuichi quickly stood up, making Yuki flinch. She expected her father to be angry, but instead he smiled and told her it was okay since she didn't do it on purpose, reminding her to be more careful next time.
I'll take care of the altar. You should get going to school.
Her father's calm reaction only irritated Yuki more when she slammed the door on her way out.
What? I don't get what made her mad.
Yuichi muttered to himself. After fixing his wife's altar, he offered her a prayer before heading out for work. It had been a year since her passing, yet Yuichi still didn't know how to bond with his daughter. In the Akamatsu household, he and his wife had both managed their own careers while sharing household chores and childcare. Yuichi believed that he and Ayaka had been raising Yuki together as a team, but it had always been clear which parent Yuki was more attached to.
Yuki, Mommy's exhausted. Please come to Daddy instead.
No, I want Mommy.
Yuki yelled back, clinging tightly to her mother.
My neck hurts.
Ayaka muttered. Even as she grew older, Yuki remained completely attached to Ayaka.
Mom, welcome home. Oh, it's you.
Now, in the full swing of Yuki's rebellious phase, Yuichi couldn't help but think. If Ayaka were still around, Yuki would have someone she could connect with more easily. Later that evening, Yuichi noticed how late it had gotten and finally headed home. While riding the train, he began to wonder. If he had been the one to die instead of his wife, would Yuki's life have been better? His thoughts were interrupted when, upon exiting the station, he spotted Yuki running past him in a hurry. He tried calling out, but she didn't hear him. Puzzled as to why she was dashing through the night, Yuichi grew worried. Was his daughter involved in something dangerous, illegal activities, maybe even delinquency? Wanting to know why she had been coming home so late, he decided to follow her. Yuki led him to a deserted alley. From a distance, he watched as she spoke to someone.
Look here. Would you stop summoning me out of nowhere all the time? It's hard enough making excuses to Dad.
The someone turned out to be a small creature that looked like one of Hello Kitty's friends. His name was Mamoru. It told Yuki that she was the only one who could defeat demons and protect the town. Yuichi, watching from the shadows, froze at the sight. Then Yuki pulled something from her bag. In an instant, a white flash nearly engulfed the whole alley. It came from a wand with a heart at its center and wings at its sides. Before his eyes, Yuki began transforming. Her school uniform vanished, replaced by bright, frilly clothes. A ribbon appeared in her hair. Her eyes even began to sparkle. Standing there was not his ordinary daughter, but a magical girl, accompanied by her cute, rabbit-like mascot. Yuichi, unable to process what he was seeing, collapsed on the spot. Pomuran informed Yuki that a demon had appeared in the empty lot past the main street. Without hesitation, the two of them soared into the sky. Once they were gone, Yuichi struggled to his feet, his legs wobbling beneath him. At first, he tried to deny what he had just witnessed, convincing himself it had to be a hallucination. After all, wouldn't anyone think the same if their daughter suddenly cosplayed and started flying? Questions spun through his mind. What was that creature? What even was a magical girl? And how was he supposed to handle this? Puberty and rebellion were already enough, but now there was transformation to worry about too. He stared up at the night sky, silently calling out to his wife, wondering what a parent was supposed to do when their daughter turned out to be a magical girl. That's when he remembered. Pomuran had mentioned Yuki was supposed to fight something. His chest tightened as worry set in. So caught up in panic, Yuichi didn't notice the shadow looming behind him. A demon had appeared. While Yuki was flying, Pomuran praised her for getting the hang of it. Pomuran grew nostalgic, recalling how clumsy she had been the first time she took to the air. Seeing how far she had come now moved him deeply. Flustered, Yuki told Pomuran to stop, her cheeks red with embarrassment.
I was just in a hurry back then. I just wanted to defeat as many demons as possible. Because if I keep defeating demons, someday you'll grant my wish, right?
The wand was said to be forged from the pure souls of heaven. With every demon defeated, holy power accumulated within it. And once filled, it could grant a single wish. Hearing that, Yuki clenched her fists with determination. Her mind drifted back to that day, a year ago, at her mother's funeral. Yuki was still in middle school then. While everyone else mourned and wept, her father was the only one smiling. He asked if she wanted something to eat, even mentioning that they could stop by Chinatown on the way to the crematorium.
His wife just died, and he's all smiles. Maybe they weren't on good terms.
Hey, not in front of the child, please.
But still.
Yuki's grandmother scolded. Yuki could only clench the hem of her skirt, trembling silently. Now, with Pomuran calling her back to reality, she focused on her mission. A frog-like demon roared up at her from the empty lot. Making sure no one was around, Pomuran urged her to use her wand. The wand had the power to become whatever she imagined, as long as she focused her thoughts. Yuki closed her eyes, concentrating with all her strength. A brilliant beam of light burst from the tip of the wand, incinerating the demon in an instant. The two celebrated the victory. Yuki's heart swelled with hope. If things continued like this, then one day she might truly bring her mother back to life. But their moment was cut short.
Hey, is it you? The rumored magical girl?
A goat-like demon stood behind them, clutching Yuichi by the neck as a hostage.
Oh, Yuki!
Yuichi cried out. Yuki was flabbergasted and almost called him dad, but quickly denied it, insisting she was a magical girl, not Yuki.
Huh? Why are you trying to hide it? I can clearly see your face. Besides, I just watched you transform.
The goat-like demon smirked proudly.
Since magical girls can't attack innocent civilians, as long as I use this human as a shield, I can wreak havoc on this town however I want.
Yuichi cursed himself. He was so shocked by Yuki's transformation that he ended up like this. He got captured so easily. Yuki, panicking, turned to Pomuran.
What do we do, Pomeroon? What do we do?
There is no choice, Pom. We have to sacrifice your father to defeat it, Pom.
What?
Yuki was in disbelief, but Pomuran explained that if the demon went on a rampage, there would be countless victims. She had no choice for the greater good.
Huh? Am I just going to die?
It can't
Isn't that
be
jumping
helped,
to conclusions?
Pomuran shouted, shoving the wand into Yuki's trembling hands. Pomuran told Yuka that defeating this demon would give her wand enough power to revive her mother. Yuki's grip tightened around the wand. Yes, she wanted that wish more than anything, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. She couldn't sacrifice her father. The wand flickered weakly in her hands before she finally dropped it. Tears welled in her eyes. Yuki just wanted things to go back to when they were happy.
Yuki.
I guess you really can't kill a human after all.
Pomuran finally revealed his true form. He was a demon, and the goat-like creature was one of his goons. He ordered it to drop Yuichi, since they had no use for him anymore. With a snap, the demon also reversed Yuki's transformation, sending her crashing to the ground. Yuichi called out to his daughter, his voice sharp with panic. Yuki struggled to rise, still dazed and confused by Pomuran's betrayal. Pomeran sneered as he exposed the truth. The entire ordeal had been a scam from the very beginning. They tricked humans into using magic, only to siphon off the energy for themselves. Yuki shook her head, disbelief etched across her face. She couldn't accept it. Her wish was supposed to come true.
Obviously, that was a lie.
Pomeran replied. He mocked her wish as pathetic, mama's girl nonsense, and told her to give it up already. The goat-like demon reminded him it was time to leave. With a final jeer, Pomeran flipped Yuki off, ridiculing her gullibility before stepping through the portal. Terrified for his daughter, Yuichi rushed to Yuki's side, asking if she was hurt. Yuki gripped her wand tightly, muttering in frustration about why she couldn't transform anymore. Yuichi gently asked if it was true. Had she really been trying to bring her mother back to life with that power? He explained that it wasn't possible, and more than anything, her mother wouldn't want to see her getting hurt like this. His voice softened as he admitted he was hurting too, but insisted they needed to accept the truth and move forward. But Yuki lashed out, striking her father across the face with her wand and sending him sprawling to the floor in pain. Tears streamed down her cheeks, snot dripping from her nose as she shouted at him to shut up, screaming that she already knew. She didn't need him to spell it out. Her voice cracked as she questioned why everything had turned out this way, screaming that she hated it all. Yuichi, clutching his face, tried desperately to calm her down. But when Yuki shouted that she hated him, his expression faltered, sadness flickering across his face before he answered softly.
I know you hate me, Yuki. It's okay to hate me. Just please, calm down.
Guilt weighed heavy in her chest as she lowered her gaze. In a trembling voice, she muttered that she hated it all. She hated that her mother had died, hated watching her father suffer, hated the way he spoke now as if tiptoeing around her, something he had never done before. Curling up on the floor, she whispered that she couldn't stand it and asked what she should have done. In that moment, Yuichi finally realized his mistake. He remembered the morning when his wife, Ayaka, was still alive. She had been preparing to leave early. Still half asleep, Yuichi asked why she was going to work on a Saturday. Ayaka explained she had things to finish before the holiday weekend. Yuichi worried. She had been working too much lately.
I'll be home around the usual time. Take care of Yuki.
Those were the last words he ever heard from his wife. That day, Ayaka fell down a set of stairs and struck her head. As Yuichi stared at her casket, he thought about how frighteningly easy it was for a life to end. It felt unreal, like a bad dream. He moved through the funeral in a haze, his face blank, even during the cremation. Afterward, the burdens of paperwork and sorting through Ayaka's belongings began to settle down. One evening, coming home from work, he decided to cook dinner since Yuki was at cram school. He chose hot pot and reached for a soup base, absent-mindedly measuring for 3 people. Only then did it hit him. There were only 2 of them now. The realization broke him. Dropping the soup base, he collapsed in the kitchen, sobbing. At the time, he was relieved Yuki hadn't seen him. When he returned to work, Yuichi threw himself into it more than ever. Staying busy kept him from drowning in grief. His thought was simple. Yuki had lost her mother, so as her father, he couldn't allow himself to fall apart. But now he understood. Yuki had seen through all of it. His fake strength, his desperate pretending. Because I'm her father. It's just her rebellious phase. He began to wonder what the hell he is doing with all these excuses. More than anything, she was the one he hadn't wanted to see sad. He placed his hands firmly on Yuki's shoulders and told her that children shouldn't have to fight battles like this, urging her to go home because he had something he needed to take care of. With a steady voice, he promised that when he returned, they would finally have a real talk. Inside an abandoned factory, the goat demon asked if it was really okay to leave Yuki behind. Pomeran replied coldly that she had already served her purpose. The magic of the wand had been drained. He admitted he had thought her mother's death and rocky relationship with her father would make it easy to manipulate her. But in the end, she wasn't anything special. The goat demon then asked if it was safe to leave the wand with her. But Pomeran assured him it was useless now. He had stolen it from the carefree fairies and never expected it to be so effective. Yet thanks to it, they had gathered enough power to achieve their long-awaited dream. The resurrection of their demon king. Every ounce of magic they had collected had been for this moment. The goat demon cheered, proclaiming that the Demon King would soon awaken and humanity would fall. But before he could finish, something struck him hard in the head. Blood dripped from a wand. Standing there was Yuichi, transformed into a magical girl. His eyes burned with rage.
You dared to deceive my daughter. I'm going to kill you,
he growled. Pomerun stared in disbelief. How had this man found them? He ordered the goat demon to attack, but before it could move, its body began to melt. Panic spread across Pomerun's face. They had drained the wand's magic. So how could this happen? It seemed the wand housed a soul, one that responded to the purity of Yuichi's heart. Pomerun could hardly believe it. This ridiculous middle-aged man in a dress, with hairy legs exposed, was what counted as purity? The sight disgusted him.
It's not like I had a choice. I grabbed the staff and suddenly transformed.
More demons emerged, rushing him at once. The wand glowed, unleashing a blast that obliterated them all, their limbs raining down as Pomerun watched in horror. The wand had become more powerful than ever. It's now a biblically accurate wand. A Cerberus demon lunged, but the wand transformed into a massive hammer, smashing it into pulp. Yuichi grinned in astonishment. His knees didn't ache, his back didn't hurt. Transformation made him feel younger than he had in years. Pomerun, refusing to lose, screamed for the rest of his goons to protect him. But Yuichi charged forward like the Doomslayer incarnate. The wand shifted forms again and again. A magical axe that cleaved demons in two, a bow that rained down arrows, a blade that sliced cleanly, a whip that strangled, a chainsaw that ripped through flesh, a shotgun that tore them apart. The factory shook with screams and explosions as Pomerun's goons were slaughtered one by one. Moments later, only Yuichi remained standing, his frilly dress soaked in blood and his body covered in wounds. Pomerun was the last one left, but instead of cowering, he burst into manic laughter. His goons had only been a distraction. Behind him, the Demon King, the mother of all demons, stirred from her eternal slumber. She was their womb, their origin, and her resurrection would mean humanity's end. But Yuichi only scowled at the hypocrisy. The very thing Pomerun sought was the same desperate wish his daughter had held, one he had so cruelly mocked her for. He transformed his wand into a bat and took his stance. The Demon King launched a sphere-like attack, pulling everything around it into a crushing void. Yuichi swung with all his strength, but the power was overwhelming. The bat cracked in his hands. For a moment, he thought it was over. Then he remembered Ayaka, he remembered Yuki, and he roared, summoning every ounce of his dad's strength his body could muster. With a final swing, he smashed the attack back toward its source. The projectile tore through the Demon King's face, obliterating half her head. She shrieked, her body collapsing into nothingness. The battle was over. Exhaustion hit Yuichi like a wave. His ankle twisted, his body gave out, and he began to fall backward, head aimed for the hard ground. But before impact, the soul within the wand cradled him, sparing him from a fatal blow. When he looked back, no one was there, only the broken wand lying beside him. By the time he staggered out of the factory, dawn had broken. Yuki was waiting. She rushed to him, tears in her eyes, ignoring his earlier command to stay home.
I'm fine,
Yuichi reassured her, though he admitted he'd twisted his ankle. Yuki insisted he go to a hospital anyway. He explained that the demons had melted away, reduced to mud, and handed her the wand. She accepted it quietly. There was still an awkward air between them. Finally, Yuichi broke the silence.
I've been hurting. I'm sorry for pretending I wasn't. I couldn't face Ayaka, your mom, in heaven like that. But now, I think I can move forward properly. Thank you, Yuki.
This time his smile was genuine. Yuki smiled back, then teased him with a mischievous grin about his sweaty smell, refusing to let him come closer. He protested in mock offense, but she quickly brushed it off, changing the subject to her hunger. In that moment, laughter returned between them. A broken wand? That mended a bond.